Oh, and we're going to take a look at your video from camp. I'm going to let it run a couple times. The first time in normal speed. The second time I'll slow-mo it. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to start breaking it down, analyze it, make some comments and some suggestions for you.
Owen Maddox, Notre Dame High School, class of 2023.
Okay, let's come on right back to the very beginning right here. On what we always do at camps, once we get your name and your graduation, ask you to jog into the game like you want to simulate as much as possible the game situation like you're jogging in from the sideline. You're coming up and marking your spot there. And as you're jogging in, of course, you got your hoodie on there, not able to tell for sure, but I'm confident you're checking that target out. As you're coming in, anytime you come in the game, you could be kicking from the hash over here on this left hash. And as you're coming in, you want to check that target. Just kind of, that's obviously the identifier where you're going to spot the ball. That starts the whole process. So as you're coming up to the ball or the spot right here, you're setting your mark there for coach there. You got him right there. I notice you got that left foot up a little further, and I think a lot of times you guys are doing that just to kind of simulate where your plant's going to be. And you place it there. And it seems to work for you fine because you really do a good job right here lining up. I can see you're straight right at the where you're supposed to be. It's right here where I'm looking at your foot here and then where you end up. You're always trying to look, make sure, and you know this right here where your front foot is, point of placement and the target, which is that you got a great one right there, target because of that flagpole. So you got everything right in the right line. Everything's in line. So you lined up really good here. Things sometimes you get concerned about when you do this right here and you look like you're putting your foot where you pretty much where you want it to be on the plan. But right here, look at your feet right here. Just see the width of them right there, the part. And here's what happens. It's sometimes players, and you don't seem to have this problem, but right here, you take this step. This is what's really good about you right here. Your first step's really good. You come right back. You're coming straight back. Sometimes that left foot they start bringing, then that the second step's what gets them off a little bit because now they're bringing their foot closer to their other foot like they would the same width when you're walking. So when you're walking down the street, see how close your feet are? So they're like this right here. See how close your feet are together? Up here you've got it kind of wide, so sometimes that tends to drift you off. You don't seem to have any problem with that. You do a good job. You just readjust it right here and you come right back. And you've got a really keen eyesight to make sure you're lined up on those 3 points we just talked about. So you're doing a good job there. Just something to think about. Also, when you do you'll see a lot of kickers, they'll just have their feet together. They'll put their spot right here, and then they'll bring their left foot and just put it right beside it. And if you just bring it right beside it, but I would still keep a little bit of gap like you're same width you are when you're walking. So right there, so you're doing this. You got also a natural thing. If you're not getting enough depth, you could always bring that foot back a little bit. It makes a nice little adjustment about the length of your foot back. But right here, you look like you're doing pretty good. Just kind of sharing you some insight on some things to think about. So good job on this alignment. Now, right here, I can see it. I can barely see it. You can see, look at your right foot. Can you see it right here? You got to really kind of check it out. I look for things like this, but see what you drive, what you're right here with this, with your front foot. You put, there's your spot, your third step. And as you take that drop step, the fourth step, that actually just to get you aligned, watch what you do with your right foot. You see it? See it move? You're dragging it back. Now that's fine. But right there now, if you're dragging it back because you need the depth, that's where I was saying you could make up the depth up here in the front. Just go ahead and get your feet toe to toe, your left foot lined up toe to toe with this right foot right where it is. See, that's where you can obviously get some natural depth there if you want to. But right here, you're, for some reason, you're going 1, 2, 3, and then right here, you're dragging that foot a little bit back. And you may see an NFL guy do that, but you know, those guys go to work every day. They're working with at least the 32nd best holder in the world, the 32nd best snapper at the very least. And so they can get away with some of those subtle things, but you're looking for precision. And as long as that's a repeatable thing that you can do, if it's like toe to heel slide, like you're bringing from your toe to your where your heel was, if you've got something that, but just be aware that you're sliding a little bit. We're trying to mark these steps off being a precise spot, but you're sliding that foot a little bit. Doesn't seem to affect you right here. Now, I noticed in the slow-mo right here, you get your feet together there, and that's fine, because this way you can, and you do a good job with your 90. You got that nice, sharp 90-degree angle. You cut, and it's easy to do, but the way you're doing it right here, it's a really good way to do it because you got your feet together, your toes to toe, toes lined up with each other, and all you got to do is just, you can visualize like a bar or a board or something right across your toe. It just takes you right across for your 90. It looks like you're doing a really good job of that. What I noticed though, says you got good lateral right there. I believe you're taking a little too wide of a lateral step right here. In our experience running camps, this kind of happens when you're younger, and then as you get older and more, go to college and you get more mature, and just you're physically getting everything nailed down. You're from a precise standpoint. You'll start finding a lot of the older guys, as you get older, more mature, more experienced, they'll start going a little. They won't go as wide. They'll be a little more concise. So you're a little wide right here, where you might want to be right about here. See, just that little extra right there. So right in this area might be the width. So you might be getting a little wide on this. I'll even show it to you, because look, this width, to me, this next one looks a little different. Looks almost even wider right there. Plus you're turning. See how you're turning your foot, your left foot? You're turning it. And your right foot's even turned. Look how far you got your right foot turned. So I know you bring that right foot, you got your toes out just slightly, but right here it's not as bad. You gather them and bring them back, and they're pretty much straight down the field. You want to just have the toes straight ahead, just like you got them right here. See how you got your feet straight ahead? Keep them just this same position, pointed in that same direction all the way through your lateral steps, all the way over here. Keep them the same exact way. Keep your feet straight down the field. Now, another thing just you can check on, what's your head with the goalpost right here. This is where you can tell a lot of times, if you have something visual to show somebody. But this right here, right this last part, when you get a little too wide, watch how you dip. See how you dip right there? So your head goes from the bottom of that goalpost, and usually it might go a little about like that. But when you, that last little bit, right there, you dip. See it right there? You see your whole body drop. And then you're coming back up, so you go back up. So you're just a little wide on those lateral steps. If you got games left this season, stick with it. Stick with what you're comfortable with. Off season, I would consider getting a little less width on those laterals. And like I said, right about, instead of right there, maybe right about there. Okay. And then watch this next one. So that one's good. And then right here, now watch how you start turning your body. You're kind of getting ahead of yourself here. You're looking for precision, and you're not. See how you've got your foot turned in here? What you're doing, you don't mean to, but you're kind of cutting a corner there, because you're trying to go ahead and get yourself in position, because you're going to you're going to turn your body and face towards your path of your steps as you go to the ball. So right here, as precise as that left foot, see how straight it is right there? Look at your left foot. it ought to be, this next one ought to be identical. And see, you got your foot, you're turning. So it really, what it does, it is making that wider, because watch, when you turn, that's where you should be right here, where normally where you're at your natural width that you're doing. But right there, you're turning toe. So now actually you made a wider turn. Don't just get right on your toe and then you'll pivot once you get that consistent lateral step. So there's your first one. Again, we want to make it a little less wide. And then this next one will be identical. And then once you get there, then you're going to come ahead and bring that foot. You bring it back like you're doing. You do a pretty good job here. And then this is where you'll turn the foot. You've already turned it some. See, you've already got it lined right here. Look where you got it aiming. You've already got it aiming over here. And you're going to end up turning it from here. You're going to put it over here to where it's going to plant. Okay, so knowing that seems like a real nitpicky thing when I'm telling you, but you need to be near perfect on these steps. You've got to get in this same spot every time right here. You want to be in this same exact spot, same exact distance here, same exact angle here. You want to do everything precise. And right now, I think you're just a little too far over because you got wide step, a little wider step, and then you had a little extra step because you turned that foot prematurely. Okay, so you want to be in that same spot every time. And you think about this where you are in high school and as you go to college and then you make it to the NFL, think of the thousands and thousands of times you're going to mark these steps off. You need to be, it's such repeatable, what you're doing. Make sure it's something you can repeat, and it's something that you're not sliding your foot here and make an adjustment over here, turn your foot there. Make it precise. And that way you're near perfect every time in your spot where you're supposed to be. And that's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you so much more consistency. Okay, so you've gotten there, you've turned that foot. Now we want to get this foot turn. Now, right about the distance you have your feet here, say your back foot is, then just keep that toe of that left foot on the ground. You could turn it like that a little bit. Just keep it in the same spot. So you're kind of, you're turning it. It's working out pretty good. It's not bad. I don't know that you've got your foot exactly towards here. Let's see what you end up with it. You're pretty close. That's a pretty good job, though, right there. Okay, so you look pretty good there. I think your back foot, let's see what you do with this back foot here. I really kind of like your back foot right here. I think sometimes you're getting a little too close right here. But, you might think it's almost like you come here, and you can make this adjustment a little bit, but I think you're getting it kind of close right there. And all it is, but you don't have too long of a your jab's good. So you don't have a real long jab. So that's good. Sometimes you get your feet too close like this, your jab's too big. You take too long of a jab. So you're adjusting pretty good there. But that's just something, again, that you could all consider if you ever need to adjust. Your foot might keep it right about here in your stance. I see that more often than not. I see a little bit more width. So, but you take it a little bit tighter right there on that. Now, something I notice here, see how your body's positioned? This is a pretty good body position right here. Always look from the heel to the back of the neck. Can't really see your neck with that hoodie on, and but that you look pretty good right there. You got nice body position right here. I think you look really good in your stance here. Now watch as we get ready to go though. You start going down. You kind of bend a little bit at the waist, it's subtle. See, you're kind of bending here now. You went from this was really good position here. And I think this is where you're checking your target. You get here, you get set. That's pretty good position right there. Okay? Think from heel to back of your neck. Once you get kind of settled in right here, this last little bit, you're looking good. And then all of a sudden right here, you look back at the holder. And then it looks like you've got a little bit. Now you're going to come here and you got a little bit of a bend here. So go back to that. Keep that. You want to try to keep this again from heel, back of your neck. You can kind of see where you're kind of sticking out here a little bit. You're just kind of bending at the waist. Plus, you're really locking those legs out, that back leg out. Now that back leg needs to be nearly locked, but I think you almost got it really locked. So you might consider just a little bit, just kind of keeping it. Let me get you back here a little bit. Right there. See how it is right there? Look at your leg. Looks good right there. Almost locked, not quite. And I think you'll find out, you get in this stance right here. Here's the stance I'm looking for right there. Okay? And then you just kind of get settled in, and then you start really kind of bend a little here, and then you let this leg kind of come out, almost overlock it. Watch it right here, right before you go. See right here? Now see how it's coming back, and you bend up the top. And just think about that. That's a little subtle thing, but because what you're trying to do on this, on your drive, on your jab step, you want to be like right in this position here. Let's back it up to where I was telling you. I think it looks pretty good right there. Okay, you want to be right in this position. So when that hand comes up, basically when the hand comes up to get the ball, I know he's taking the ball to the hand, but this hand will come up to catch it. The moment that hand comes up, we talked about this in our video session there. The moment that hand comes up, your body's going to have a subtle lean right before you take the jab. Your whole body's you're just going to be like, your whole body's falling like a tree in the ground. In the ground, I've used the whole body just kind of falling right here. You're going to stay in the same body position to right here, and then you take that subtle jab. So right here, he gets ready to start it. You're checking your target, come back into him. He's putting the ball down. Now right here, you can see now what I'm talking about. You're not that straight anymore. You kind of got a little bit of bend here. So keep that. You have it there for a while, but the longer you're there in your stance, you start bending over a little bit. So let's work on that. Then that ball's there, and then here's where you get that lean. You ought to have a little bit of lean, but you're kind of like you've got a little bit. See how you raise your toe? See that little? That's wasted motion right there. See this right here? Lose your toes. Wasted motion. And I think it would solve itself if you go back to that stance I'm talking about. You'll be surprised how much a smooth stance right here, right? That's a good looking stance right there. That's what I'm looking for. But after you check the target, you get settled in, you start kind of adjusting, locking that back leg out really strong, and then you kind of bend over at the waist a little bit. Now see where you are now, and you're moving those toes. So let's clean all that up. And all I want to do, I don't want to see any movement with those toes. I want to see your body. I want to see it's just a slight, the moment that hand comes up in a game, I'll see a subtle lean, and then you'll take that jab. Okay, let's watch you on right here. Now I like the distance on your jab. I just think something right here, I believe I don't think it's necessary you roll. See how you're rolling up? You roll right there. Just lift your foot up, go to your toe, and then you'll roll. You're going to go from here. You're just raising your heel a little too much. And again, Owen, I'm being nitpicky, but I've seen many kickers, and I'm trying to share with you the common denominators of what makes some of those great ones great. And right here, I think this would help be a little smoother for you. Just go ahead and take that jab, but you don't need to raise that heel that high. That's again wasted motion. It's going to take time. When you start getting the watch on you in a college situation, timing's very important. And that's just a little area right there that's going to slow you up. So right there, just come off the ground. That's high enough right there. And then it'll go forward, and then you'll be on your toe, but your heel will barely be off the ground. And then as you continue on, you'll roll up to it. You're going ahead. You're rolled up to it kind of prematurely. Just let your body naturally do it. Just like taking a step right there. Keep your heel close to the ground. Stay on your toe, and then you'll roll up you'll be on your toe, and then you'll roll up to this position. Now right here's pretty good. And see, that leg is not completely, it's almost locked out, but it looks so much better. You don't have it almost hyperextended. So this is really good. So I want you to go from, this will be like how your stance is. You're going to be in this stance right here. You're going to lean right to this. Now you look pretty good. It's just you got a lot of little movements there till you get to there. So that's what you're doing. All this jab does is it's a great transition step to get your body in this position and get you moving. It's a great trend. Lean to the jab. Then you got your drive step, plant step. Plant step looks good. You got that plant really good. I mean, you got a confident plant step right here. Got your counter arm. out to the side. You'll have some guys will have them. They'll have them here, here where you are. Some will have them right here, and then the counter's going to come across the chest. Usually, if you're like this, you're just going to kind of finish right across the chest right here. You'll see that very common. Your plant now. I want to. It looks like, and I know I'm not sure what foot size you got, but right here it just looks like it might be a little wide. So again, just think about this. Best way to work on this, 1-steps. But I think you just might be a little wide on this plant. Excellent job. Again, I don't know what size foot shoes you wear, what size you have, but you're a little wide, and generally just you want your foot distance from the football here is your plant. And I just don't think your foot's that big. I don't think your foot's that long. See right there, you can even tell right there. Right there is about where your toe is to it. But just something to think about. You're definitely at as wide as you need to be. So just kind of, this is one kick. It looks like you hit it, decent right here, but right now you got your good placement of the plant. I think you could get more flexibility right here. You've got, see right here, you want flexibility here, and you want flexibility to get that leg up. So there's more power to be developed for you if you just work on that a little bit. But let's watch the finish, because sometimes that's what's the finish is kind of what dictates what you're doing there. So right here, and what I'm looking for here, you're pretty good position. Say your foot is right here. And notice coach has that ball leaning a little bit for you. He's got it leaning just a little bit for you. So when it's leaning, that means right here at impact, right about here, how your foot is right there, that's about what you want your foot. You want that toe slightly below the heel. But I'm not sure right at impact. I don't believe you're doing that. I think right at impact, you got that. See how, look at right there. Your toe is kind of up a little bit. And so it kind of defeats the purpose right here. That's about how you want to usually strike the ball right there with your foot in that position there. Okay? It's real common. You're almost now the toe slightly above the heel. And then so you're kind of hitting it. I think you could see right there. Yeah, you kind of hit it a little bit. If you had that toe down, you just kind of catch a little bit. See how the ball's rotating? It's going to have a little bit of because of the angle, it's going to have this, but it's a little too much right there. Because you kind of hit the ball a little bit. Not perfect. You hit it pretty good, but not perfect, because it's got a little bit, it's going to have a little hook to it right here, you could tell. So it's subtle, but right there, usually think about having your foot. You want to work on that again. Work on that 1-steps. 1-steps are great for your plant. Once get your right plant foot, right spot, foot impact, follow through, and your skip step. So right there. So just try to get your foot right in that position. So right there, it looks like you're hitting the ball a little high right there, with your toe. I think you still hit it pretty solid. You got a good hit. I mean, you get that ball up, you got a real good leg. Just a little subtle things to work on right here, and you get that the legs coming up. Think of this: the legs coming up toward that left shoulder. Okay, and you're coming from this angle here. It comes down, and then you're making contact. And it's going right back up. It's going back the same way it came down. Okay, so when you're striking here, it's going right back up there. Okay, so it's just like that arc that you see. As you're swinging that like that, and you're getting your torque effect right here. So right here, you get that arm, and you're kind of crunching just a little bit. You see how your leg is swinging up right through here, right there? It looks like you're right there. You're right there on your finish. You hit pretty good, but right here at the finish, you're kind of coming across, and your leg's coming over to this side right here. Your leg is going to peek out right here. Watch it right here. See it right there? So right here, you've gone towards that arc that we're talking about. See, right about here is where it is. But then you let it go a little too far. See right here? You're letting it, now you're getting some momentum. It should be going this way. And you're getting it up here and then letting it come over this way. And you might think, well, that doesn't really affect the kick. Well, it doesn't, but the ending of it's kind of causing your body to have to adjust. Your body's getting used to having to adjust because you kind of almost, you're over torquing. You kind of come in there, and then you're kind of letting your body you're losing control right here. Say you're losing control because your foot's coming out. Now it looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good to here, except we just work on that foot position a little more. Still get a good hit. It's a good kick. You still make the kick. But you do have a little bit. Let's watch that ball finish here. It looks like I think you got a little bit of hook to it. Just a little bit to finish. See it to finish? And there's no wind blowing. You can look at that flag. The flag, there's nothing going. It's just you got a little bit of a draw coming. It's coming back a little bit. Okay, so you're coming here. We'll zoom it back in where we were. The leg's coming up. Your counter arm. Try to keep that counter arm. It's not bad right there. Just try to keep it right there high. And there it is right there. Pretty good. You don't want to lean. I think you're leaning because of what you're doing here with your foot at the finish. And plus, look at your plant foot. It's going, your plant foot needs to go more that same direction of your kicking leg. See, what's your kicking leg? It's going right here, right there toward the left shoulder. And your plant leg needs to go that same, pretty much that same. It's just following it. So wherever your kicking leg makes contact, it continues up toward that left shoulder generally, and then your skip goes there. But right here, what's happening is your skip is, see how it's turning your own lateral. Just go ahead and go ahead and finish that way. And you got a little bit of a drift right there. Now, see how you're almost aiming there and you've lost control right there. And see, you're having to step back right there. I don't want you stepping. See how you lose right here in just a little bit? It's so, Owen. You got a great leg, buddy. You got a lot of ability. These are just little things I want you to really consider working on to get better control of your body. And I really, right here, what you're trying to do, don't just kind of keep that body nice, keep that upper body right in that same position there. Don't really crunch any more than what you're doing there. Try to minimize that. You want to look nice and smooth. Let the upper body stay in that position, the leg come to it. And then again, what you're trying to do when you kick, you're doing a pretty good job there. It's almost like a ceiling right here too. You don't want to where you're kicking right there, you don't want to kick up into the ceiling. You want to kick through the ball, and you're doing a pretty good job of it. You just lose a little control. You're just rotating a little too far and letting that leg go to the left, and you've lost control, and it's caused your skip to go left. And that affects you because you're just not totally getting everything into that ball, and you kind of work on that finish. Focus on the finish. Get a cleaner finish. Finish the same way every time. It's going to give you so much more confidence and you're going to get better leg whip. Like I was talking to you right here. Right here, I want you to be able to just right here because you're kind of having to swing through and then you're having to gain control of your body right here. Well, I don't want the kicking. When you're kicking, you don't want to have to worry about gaining control. You just want to naturally smooth kick the ball and then have natural control. You're kind of having to think about right here. You're kicking and then you're having to kind of gather yourself right there. Let's eliminate the gathering yourself and come right on through. And I don't want to see that kicking leg peeking over here. I don't want to see it. Just let it go on naturally where it's going right there. Right about there is see where it's peeking right there? That's as much as I want to see it. But I don't want to, it right there, it's coming right there, and watch it just go lateral. Now it's coming lateral and down. You're just going too far there. It's going to give you a much cleaner finish. You're going to be in more control, and you're going to be nailing that landing on your skip. All right? Keep working at it. Owen, you did a really good job at the camp. You got a nice, strong leg. Keep working and developing it. Owen, I'm going to do a little extra for you here. I'm doing a comparison side by side here. A great kicker, college kicker just finished his eligibility. NFL caliber player, very talented, great technique. Kind of do a little comparison here. Kind of teach him backwards on you here, but look at the plant on your plant foot. Now you're a little taller than he is, maybe a bigger foot, but you can see considerably how much wider you are on your plant. So just be aware of it. You might be, I just think you're a little wide on it. And it's just very slightly. Great plant. You got great foot position, your foot straight ahead. And here's kind of where I was talking about. You can get more drawback. You got a little better looking drawback right here on this freeze, but right here is where you're talking about where you get right here. right there. See how he's got this leg in the hip? He's got flexibility in the hip right there. You need a little more flexibility in your hip. So you can get that leg up a little bit higher and back. Okay, so you want this leg instead of right here, we want to get that leg back a little bit more here, get that foot up a little bit more. And that's going to come on what we talked about on your finish. Just getting more control in the finish. This is where I want to show it to you right here. And also I want you to see foot position. Now you can kind of see you guys have similar arms right here. And something else I've noticed right here. I think you get your right arm. See how you're getting your right arm too involved right here. Look at your right arm. It's kind of part of the process, kind of helping you over torque right here. See it right here? He keeps his, see how he keeps his right arm right here? That helps keep him maintained, keeps his body in balance. That right arm, it shouldn't be, don't get involved and bring it behind your back. See how you're bringing it behind your back? You're almost like you're bringing the left arm behind your back. I'm sorry, your right arm behind your back and your left arm across your body. So you're almost like fighting the natural torque right here. See how you both turn? Both of you turn, but see how he's in control and you're not? Look at the difference here in the right arm. See, look how he keeps his right arm. He doesn't let himself lose control. And this is where I was talking earlier, where you're swinging here. You're doing a good job getting the ball coming up through here to your left shoulder. That's what he's doing. And then your skip goes in that direction. But your skip's going here, and then it's coming over here. So watch what you're doing. Watch the skips right here. Watch your leg. Just coming up. Pretty much similar, except this arm, you let this arm come back. And watch his skip and your skip. See how you've turned to the side? He's let his continue on with the natural swing of the leg. Well, your natural swing of the leg is similar, except you let your leg go, you over torque right here, you get your leg coming around, and then you're losing control. You're so close. 1 steps. Focus on that finish, getting control. You have this video, you can kind of go back to it and look at it. And again, this kicker on the left, he's got great technique, so you got to really work on this part for you. And again, look at the ball impact. This is where I was telling you, you've got that toe up a little bit. And you can see where he finishes. He actually has his down so much, he kind of glances at turf. It looks worse than it is. That field turf, you could just hit the top blades of grass, and those black specks are going to pop up, black rubber particles. So right there, but you want to have your toe more like that. So you kind of defeat the purpose of having the ball leaned. You almost have your foot like just straight across, and if the ball was straight up. Remember that lean, you have that lean because you want to have that foot and that toe down slightly. So that's why you've got that lean a little bit, matches up better. So you're kind of not getting the ball as clean as you can. And work on that finish right there, okay? And let's go back here. I want to show you something else real quick. Look at this stance. Remember I told you, here's where I thought you looked really good right here. Pretty good stance right there. Right there, I think your stance looks good. Look at his stance. See how he is straight up? Looks real similar right there, both of you. His feet are a little bit wider. We talked about that. On this stance, he's got a little more gap right here than you do. That's something that's just personal right there if you want. And you didn't know. Watch how clean watch how he raises his toe right here on his left foot. Watch his left foot. Of course, watch when the hand. This is really good simulation. Watch his hand comes up. When the hand comes up, watch his body right here. See him leaning? He hadn't even taken a step yet. He's leaning. He's just leaning. He's leaning to it. And watch what he does right. Look how he barely lifts that foot. Look at that. He barely lifts off the ground, and he rolls up to the toe. He's on his toe right there. See, he's on his toe. You just don't see it. He's just barely taking it. He's real clean. He's in, in his operation because he's with the unit. He's in college. He's kicking with, they've got to go quick at 1.25, 130 3 seconds, 1.25 to 13.3 seconds. So right here, so he's just really concise. Look at that. Look how smooth he is. His back stays that way. And see right here, you go right to, remember we want to clean that. You start kind of bending over at the waist and locking that leg out, overlocking it. And see, look how you raise your toes. See how you raise them? You got that movement there we got to eliminate. Then watch how you raise your toe high. See, you go real high, and you just stay like you're like on a tippy toe right there. Just go ahead and go to it like he does here. You're still going to accomplish the same thing. He's on his toe, and he just rolls up. Now see how he rolls to it? So much smoother. Okay? Work on that. And then here's going back to the lateral steps. I'm teaching backwards here. Right there, you got good steps. You can see he does a good job. We talk. See how he has his feet? He has nice straight steps back. Your feet aren't as wide, aren't as narrow actually. See right here? So you start this way, he starts this way. See how his feet are? But you do a good job of it. So keep it up. That's what you want to do it. You can see this is what you'll find a lot of them will do right here. They just because they're just stepping. Their feet, his feet are exactly how they are when you walk. Same width apart. He takes direct. Then your steps are just directly back. If they're starting this way, then your steps are easy. It's go straight back. It's real easy and concise. And then right here, he does. Look at his lateral. This is a college kicker. See how much wider yours are? That's what I was saying. I think yours ought to be just right about maybe right about there. And it doesn't in that way. Owen, you're not too far over. You don't want to get too far over. That gets you further from the ball, and it also increases that angle. Your angle's not. If you're right. Let me see. Bring you right here. If you're here, you can see your angle's a little more than it would be if you're right here. So you kind of increase that. It's just to give you an exaggerated idea of how that would work, but that's kind of what you're trying to minimize. And plus, you're a little closer to the football. And then watch this. Watch his second step. Watch his first and second are identical lateral steps. Watch, identical. See, he didn't turn that left foot. Now watch how he does right here. He turns it right here. He gets his foot here, and then watch him pivot on his toe right there. And now he's got himself, got his whole body. This sets the tone. It's the body. That's where his plan's going to be. Then he'll bring this foot up. There, now he's in his stance right here, and then this foot's going on a rail right to the ball. And then his body is everything's facing exactly the same way. See his back, and I think you're doing a pretty good job on that. So we got to work on that right here. Just kind of work on, clean this up right here. A little more economic lateral steps, not as wide. Keep them concise and don't turn that foot there. Go ahead and kind of keep it straight like you did right here. Right there, okay? You're getting that nice clean stance. You do it, you have it right there. There's your stance. Just keep that stance right there. Great job at the camp. Keep working.